Let's see. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Woo! Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Hello. There we go. We're just waiting for other people to get on. You know, we'll give it about like 5 minutes. Hey, Charles, good to see you. Oh, man. Yeah, hopefully my voice doesn't sound too weird right now, but... Oh. Hey, how's it going? It's good to see you, too. There you go. Let me start pouring some drinks while we wait. There we go. So we'll give it like a minute or so, and then we'll just start, you know, kind of like, you know, give people some time to mosey on in. Hey, Arkinson. How's it going? Hey, Melon. So, here, give me a little notice right here. See if the music's too loud or whatever else. We'll see how this goes. So, you know, I got lots of notes on the devs, and I kind of watched this already once. So we'll see if you know, I'll bounce around and we'll see how it goes. So, you know, kind of stay to the important stuff because there's a lot of like little dead time they have, but you know, it's not really. So. I got the flu, thankfully. Oh no, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Something's going around. Like I got slammed last week. So, hey, chicken, how's it going? Hey, y'all. Oh, I got to pour more drinks. Everyone's coming in. Yeah, sorry to hear about the flu. Yeah, it's terrible this time of season. I don't know what it is. I think it's in America, at least they have the holidays going on, Thanksgiving, and everybody likes getting sick before then, so that might be something. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so let's give it a little more time, and then let's see. I'm gonna pause it right here, so that works out. Yeah, we'll give it like, you know, about 10 more seconds or so. When you're drinking the beer, you need some music. There you go. Hey, Hormo. So, alright. So what we're going to do today is that, so we got a little bit of a crowd here. We're just going to go through there. How many people actually seen the entire live stream? You know, I'll kind of, you know, ask you all and see what you want to see. And all that stuff. But mostly I've gone through this and I have like 3 note cards full of like timestamps that I think that are probably the most interesting points we should go through. For example, like, you know, let's see, like, you know, you have Tobias here on the right, and then you have Prokop here, who's, you know, I believe he's designer, I believe, lead designer. He's actually pretty funny. So I wonder if he has a character in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So that'll watch out. So, all right, you only seen 5 minutes of it? Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of different things going on here. They actually have some interesting things, and I probably want to get your guys' thoughts on this too, and be like, hey, what do they really mean by this? There's one piece of tidbit information I'll probably put out. It's kind of funny towards the end, because I know everybody is interested in wearing hoods in the game. Like, you can actually put a hood on top of your head, sort of deal. And the devs, like, someone asked in the chat multiple times about this, and the dev said, like, oh yeah, you could put your visor down, and everyone's like, no, hoods, like, head hoods, and everyone's like, no, you know. So they didn't answer that question. It's not like something you can do in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, and we're not sure if you can do it in 2. They have actual hoods in the game, but they don't, like, it doesn't seem like the player can actually put their hoods up, and they didn't really answer that question. So that might be like a mod thing again, because I know there's a mod from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 you can actually put hoods up on there, which is actually pretty unique. But yeah, that's something that I noticed in there. That I was like, hey, wait a minute, chat's trying to ask them that kind of question, and they don't really see that. So I wonder if they'll answer that question later on, but we'll see how that goes. So what I'm going to start out is on minute 30 here, you know, because they have, like, right now you can see it's like 15 minutes here, and they start talking and all that, but they don't really start playing. Well, actually, you know, what's also interesting, I guess, is that, you know, let's go to, I keep forgetting to have a little fight here, cutscene here. So if you haven't seen it already, we'll just go straight to the meat of it.
It's safe to see even before,
Yeah.
before you actually play the game.
We'll just go to like the little cutscene
Okie dokie.
where, you know,
So,
Henry gets
ladies
beat
and
up and
gentlemen, I
everything
will
else
now
like
change,
that.
the scene, and then
You know,
I'll see you
spoilers
on the other
alerts,
side.
but this is actually what's going to happen on here. So this is when they actually start doing that. So I'll be quiet here. And the one thing I will say, though, is that I didn't see a chicken in this cutscene, so someone's going to have to help me on this one. I'm pretty sure there's a chicken somewhere in this cutscene. So.
Please. Right. Let's have a look at you. It's all right.
My parents. That was just a dream, Henry. We're in
We're
the
in the woods.
ambushed. But don't worry, we'll get you fixed up, right?
Oh, poor chicken. Yeah, we'll find chicken. Don't worry.
Now I've got you, whore sons.
Oh, there's gonna be so many bonk things here. But yeah, Henry comes in. He's all beat up. Essentially, what they think happened is that he got shot by an arrow. That's sort of what happens. But
Hey, lad. Are you alive, lad?
yeah, they find an old lady and all that stuff. And then they go through the cutscenes again of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. So he starts having bad dreams and all that. So, but apparently, I think he got shot by an arrow. They set it in here sort of thing. So he takes an arrow to the shoulder. Not to the knees, so he can keep adventuring. But, yeah, it's not too interesting. But there is one interesting part here. I'll probably bring it up here. Let's see if it comes up. So the actor that plays Markov, oh god, the bad guy, the bald head guy. So maybe I'll pull out the actual, yeah, him, Baldy. He sounds completely different than the first one. So I think they got a new voice actor. I don't know if anyone can tell me about that. So here, I'll be quiet here. I'll turn it up a little bit. So, come on, Henry. All right.
I've come from Skalitz.
Yeah, I burned it
They
down.
burned it to the ground.
Come on.
Slaughtered everyone. Who? Who burned it to
Henry
the ground?
slaughtered everyone. He's just confessing to everything.
They attacked without warning.
Yeah, I know.
Get all the people inside the gates.
I'm trying not to skip ahead because I'll
We have to
probably miss
prepare for
it.
the
So, but he's coming up. So
Make all the necessary arrangements.
here it is.
I am Sir Marquardt von Aulitz. I come in the name of Sigismund of Luxembourg, King of Hungary and Croatia.
And it sounds different, completely different. I wonder if I could pull it up here. Let me see if I could pull it up. I actually did a recording of this. So he sounds completely different. And let me see if I don't mess this up. Extras. Boom, boom, no volume. Let's see. Ah, here we go. Yeah. Sorry. Let's see. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. It's not showing on there. I'm sorry about that. Alright, back to the main live stream. It's being weird on there. So, but he does sound completely different. You gotta trust me on this. I'll release a video probably tomorrow showing it. Like, apparently, this whole thing doesn't want to go, so...
There's work to be
Is
done.
it that Don't Forget About Gutenberg voice actor, right? No, he's not in it. It's just the evil villain guy, so that's fine. All right.
I ain't your ma, lad.
So Henry just wakes up. he's in a house. He's hurt, of course. Yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to skip over to 30 minutes here. So here we go. So this is the part that everybody wants to see. It's basically about what happens to Henry and what happens to all his skills. So this is their reasoning they're going to have. Henry took a huge injury. It said a terrible fall. So basically he survived a terrible fall. But he has like an arrow in his shoulder. So apparently that's what it is. Yeah, you lost several main levels, skills, and perks and all that. So you basically not starting at 0, but you lose a lot of your perks. Yeah, Melon, so you're saying Richard Zenman is still alive, so it's odd they changed voice actor. Yeah, it's also odd, too, that they, when they have, like, they sound completely different. So they had the original voice actors, or whatever, they had to use the original lines, because you could tell everything else sounds the same. But then it's like, he sounds completely different. I'll show it in the video I'll release tomorrow about that. And I have it compared to site. Like, it's not showing on here. You know, I can't get the sound to play, so it's kind of terrible. But anyways, so so it looks like what happens with Henry on here is that you're just going to lose your skills, all right? But you don't lose all your skills. So, it's the soldier. Does anyone know if you get physical copy or digital copy of the collector's edition? That's a good question. I don't know about that. I heard something about a physical copy being around, but I'm not sure about that. I think if you get the PS4, PS5 version, someone might, if someone in the chat knows, I'm interested too. So here you go. You lose some skills here, but it looks like you're going to start off with, let's see, you're going to start off with some skills altogether. So it's not too bad.
Obviously see here.
Yeah.
And she's a fan.
So you can see the views of all this. It looks good and all that. But again,
let's open.
So here you go. So they're open to chat. You can see like you start out not 0, 1, 1, 1. I'll pause it right here. This is exactly where I want to pause it at. So you could see that you're actually starting off with like some strength, some agility, vitality, and all that stuff. So you're not starting at 0, but apparently you're going to have a much higher skill cap altogether. So it's not going to go to 20 like in the original game. Maybe. They didn't say how high it goes. They just said it was a higher skill cap. So maybe you just start lower and then you're just got a higher way to go. But you're not starting at 0. So I wonder if they're going to show it off here. The other thing I'm kind of interested too, you could see Henry with the bandage on his arm. You can see like right there I was talking about. It looks like he took an arrow, or maybe that's from the fall. But it looks like bandages will show your damage maybe. Or maybe it's just a unique setup here. I'm actually kind of curious about that. It would actually be really unique. You think, you know, I don't know. You think that's something they're showing off in the game? Because they're talking about little things. So if you hurt your leg and you bandage it, you got to bandage your leg. That'd be kind of a cool one. Confirmed from the German stream. Okay, thank you. So it looks like max level is 30. Okay, so you got 10 more levels to play with. You know, so basically you got a smaller skill cap. So that's not too bad. Can I share a YouTube video so you can compare the voice actor real quick? I'll release a video tomorrow. I have it in my setup already. Like I have it, so I'll show the comparison, so it'll be real easy. Hey, look at that boy. I'll do that tomorrow for sure. But yeah, the voice acting's different for sure. It sounds, at least the Markov sounds really different. But yeah, so your main level starts at 6. Looks like you got all this, at least from this build. So they could change it. But, you know, 30 level skill cap, it's pretty high, but that'll work out. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's see if they show off, like, I don't remember. I think they do show the next one here.
Pretty much the ones you already know.
Yeah, I'm gonna speed them up to 1.25 here.
There are already some levels attached to them.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So you can see, like, you get, you know, charisma, conspicuousness, and all this stuff. So it looks like, here's the thing I'm kind of interested in. So you also got dialogue stats, so they actually tell you what you have. Domination, presence, intimidation, impression, and all that stuff. So that's kind of interesting what they're doing there. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Melon, hope we can port across our hardcore Henry Virgin. No, it looks like they're not doing any ports. So if you're looking to port from KCD1 to KCD2, there's no ports allowed. So you're just getting the standard Henry. So everybody gets the same Henry. When you start off, there's nothing different. So that's kind of a bummer, but, you know, we can't have millionaire Henry running around, you know, Bohemia, I guess. So that's That's a level. And here we go. This is where I wanted to pause that. Oh, give me a second. Oh God, I'm still kind of sick. Sorry about that. So you can see here, these are the main skills you have. It looks like Alchemy, Craftsmanship is the new one here. Drinking, Horsemanship, Houndmaster, Scholarship, Stealth, Survival, and Thievery. It's kind of interesting that these skills are like this. Scholarship, I guess, is now Reading. Looks like they just put Craftsmanship is probably going to be for blacksmithing and all that. Oh, Rats, late to the stream? You're not too late, Tristan. Don't worry. And it looks like, yeah, it has physical copies, the collector's edition. Okay, thank you, Assassinator. So if you're looking for that, that'd be pretty good. So this is the interesting part, too. If people are wondering if Mutt's coming back, it looks like someone has, like, they're talking about in the chat, or they talked about in the stream, too. It sounds like they're being very coy about it, but it sounds like Mutt is coming back. And the other thing that they actually have, too, is that it seems like Pebbles couldn't return, too. They were kind of like saying it might be a secret or something like that, and you can actually upgrade Pebbles to be better all around. So they didn't go into details about that later on, but if you're interested about like returning characters, looks like Mutts will be back. That's probably where Houndmaster's coming in. And then the Horsemanship, you can have your Pebbles back, too. But they didn't say how you can get Pebbles, where it came to, but it sounds like they're like, oh, it's a secret. So we'll see how that goes. So these are kind of like the main things that are going on. I guess Survival is kind of like your hunting skill or stealth maybe, or, you know, all around. Who knows how that works out. So this is kind of like the breakdown. Sort of interesting, but, you know, kind of what we expect. Still sick? Sounds like you need some marrow remedy. I don't know. The way that Henry treats Meroded with that, it's usually as a pointy end and a stick. I don't want to deal with, Dr. Henry. So, let's see. The other thing, too, minute 34 I have. So let's go to 34. I have a note here. There we go. So the skills here, so you do have warfare skills. They said that you have 6 of them. So it looks like they took defense out altogether. So there's no more defense off here, but it looks like defense got put into warfare. So it looks like you're going to start with evade, so basically dodge, I guess, feint, perfect block. But it sounds like they also said that you actually take out Master Strike. So now instead of pressing Q to win every battle, you can't do that anymore. You can block things, but you just can't do Master Strike. So the game might be a little bit harder for us, but we'll see. So you can start off with these skills, kind of like the basic. You don't have to learn that. But it looks like they also talked about unarmed actually does have a skill in there. I wrote in a note saying that you can actually have unarmed and you can actually disarm somebody. I don't know how that will work out, but that'd be pretty good. There's defense. It's the first one. Yeah, warfare. Yeah, victorious. So it sounds like unarmed might actually be a viable combat situation. I don't know if it's because in the first game, Kingdom Come, trying to kill someone with unarmed, especially if you got like 2 or 3 people attacking you, you're not gonna stand a chance. It's just terrible. You're gonna die the entire time. Yeah, damn Master Strike. That's said. Yeah, they scroll down, but maybe I remember seeing defense. That's a very good question. I might see, like, it might be in the other combos or skills, but it looks like at least in the combat thing, it's not in defense there. So, okay. Woven said Mutt is shown in the trailer. He's biting a bandit, so it's 100% confirmed. Yeah. So Mutt's definitely around. Yeah, warfare skills, pretty good. I'm kind of excited to see unarmed in there. They also have perks for archery, too, which would be interesting, but, that's not too much. Let's see. So on minute 36 here, which I think was interesting, which we probably want to see, is that Henry's getting up,
Hungry Henry,
and what they're actually interested in seeing Henry eat. So look at that. He's actually taking a spoon out and eating. So, and they're actually kind of interested in doing this. But the other thing I'm kind of interested in, here, I'll just turn this down a little bit, is that Henry can actually eat out of the pot more than once, apparently. Because usually when you eat out of the pot in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, you basically only eat once. So, like, now you can eat multiple times? I'm not sure how this works out. So, and look at that. He could still eat from the pot. So, I don't know how this goes on. CJ, an unarmed takedown would be cool. Did they say something about the animation finish moves, or I'm tripping? They didn't say anything about the unarmed, other than they said like they kind of give like the little tidbits and stuff like that. Oh, Victorious, excited for polearms. The gold edition set gives you polearm too. Really? So it's kind of like a. I did not know that. I thought the gold edition gave you like the shields, like you can actually make your own like shield, like the arms on there. But if they give you actually a polearm or special one, that'd be pretty unique. So, I don't know about that. But food-wise, it looks like food's kind of interesting. They, it looks like you can eat more than once. The other thing that kind of comes up here at 38 minutes. Also, let me know in the chat if you want me just to let the video play and you kind of see it, or you want me to jump around kind of to the interesting tidbits. I don't want to kind of like, I'm kind of like going through my note cards here and kind of going back and forth. So let me know in the chat, because I just want to make sure. I'm kind of going through the interesting parts here and keeping it like to a reasonable level, if that makes sense. But yeah, at 38 minutes here, I found it interesting because it looks like Henry can actually sit here and pray. So it's kind of like, and it sounds like in the scholarship perk they mentioned, they said like in there that you can actually boost your stats or have little perks that adjust praying like that. So it looks like praying could be a little bit more, more often than Henry just throwing, that one quest with Yanka. So it looks like they changed that a little bit, so that's kind of interesting. Tristan, they mentioned that being able to grapple an enemy and do equivalent of a stealth kill. Wow. Okay. That's actually kind of cool. I think I missed that, but okay. If that's true, then that's actually pretty good, because, then unarmed could be like, all right, we're going to go and kill people just with our bare fists. That would be the way to do it. The Lion Crests come with the base game, my bad, but it comes with the Oh, okay. All right. That sounds good. Melon, have Warhorse acknowledged your videos in any capacity? The only one they mentioned before was beef jumping, and they said, oh, you're not supposed to do that. So, so they know the insanity exists, but, they don't really talk. I think I'm a little bit too insane for them, but that's all right. And also, let's see, I'm flipping my notes around. Let's see, on 42, this is the interesting part. I don't think, they're just talking about, like, here, they're kind of just going about like how everything looks nice. It looks a really good game, right? They kind of adjusted all the textures. It looks really good. Yada yada. We've seen that before, so I like it. So, and he's going up here. He's going to steal some tailor kits and all that. So Henry's just stealing and everything. That's fine. Yeah, look at that. So I talked about this before, where you can actually see the stats on there. That's really cool without picking anything up. But what I'm really interested in is out here. Let's see. Did you pick this up already? No. He's just talking about Hans. He killed that guy, whatever else. Here, go back. So, you can see the outside. You can see the boar. But right here, there you go. I'll pause it right here. Weak savior snops. So, in the game, it looks like they were talking about potions will have different stats altogether. So, based on how well you made it. Hey, Jakata. How's it going? It looks like weak savior snops. So now that looks like they have different statuses that you can have. I don't know how this affects savior snops. Like if you make a strong one, medium one, or whatever else they have in there. They didn't go too deep into it, but said there's actual different qualities of potions you can make. I don't know what it would do for snops wise, but it seems like now potions have different qualities you can do instead of just you make the potion, boom, you're good to go. So that'll be good to see. Yeah, CJ says, I like how familiar and similar, but really cleaned up. Yeah, the game looks really good for the stats and all that. So it's a great. But that's great. Chicken, what's it gonna do? Save half the game? Yeah, I don't know what that's gonna be used for. Tristan saying, my guess multiple uses for save, maybe? Maybe. That's yeah, that might be a thing. So Potion's got a tier system. Yep, Assassinator. It looks like there's a tier system going on. And also there's a wash animation here too that they showed off, which is pretty good. Now you can actually wash yourself and see yourself being washed. So, but the Savior Snop system works the same. Looks like weak Savior Snops only does one. Maybe you make a strong one, yep, could save multiple. So who knows? Yeah, maybe it depends on how many mistakes you make during the brewery. Yep, I think that's probably what it is. It's either that or maybe they have quality for ingredients too. So maybe, you know, they haven't shown that much off on there. So, but it seems like there'll be a slight difference on there, so that's exciting. Also, they talked about during this part too is that Henry's getting drunk and stuff. So they talked about if you black out during this time, this is like the whole drunkenness thing. And I'll mention this real quick. I really like how they do this because I remember Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, at least when you actually want to see the stat of anything, on the PC you had to press Q and then they give you like this thing that covers over your screen. But now it looks like they have, just go right. And then they give you like the whole listing of what it does. Like it actually gives you the negative phase, the positive phase of drinking. So it looks like drinking is going to be God tier once again. So hey, I was reading that. That's rude of you. There we go. Let me pause that. So it looks like, look at that. Increases your speech, strength, agility, and charisma to a maximum +4. Oh my God. Look at that. Just drinking like that. That's what I'm talking about. Like if you can drink in the game, I'm going to be like I'm not going to eat food again. I'm just going to keep drinking all the entire time. If they have Hair of the Dog, you can kind of just save all that stuff. So that doesn't seem like a big deal. Yeah, you don't have to be stuck in loadings after wash. Actually, a question for you, you all. I don't know, playing the PS4 or Xbox version, because playing on the PC, at least I have a pretty decent computer, so it's not a big deal. When you wash, do you have like a really long loading time on the washes between? I know mine's like probably a second or two because they go black and come back. So, yeah, that's terrible. But for drinking, it's going to be awesome. The negative phases, I guess that's hangover, but I never deal with the hangover. So, I mean, you lose speech, agility. So, basically, it's really bad if you get too bad. But, honestly, I think drinking's going to be viable in this game. And, honestly, in the first game, my whole thing was like, if you could drink, don't do food. It's not worth it. So there's too many benefits to doing that. So I'm gonna skip the 49 here. Let's see, because Henry just talks through here. It's not that interesting. But what I am interested in is this second map. Come on, there we go. So here we go. They start showing off the second map. So this is not the Kutenberg map, but this is the map for the actual first part of it in Trotsky region. So honestly, let's see. That looks no, stop. I'm trying not to get a terrible image, but it looks like it's like a little bit smaller, but it works out pretty well. And it's a pretty good size. So they're saying this is more like a countryside kind of filling area. So it's a different biome altogether, so that would be interesting to see. So I'm actually kind of interested. Please change horse mechanics and locator finder points. Okay, that might be something yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. Tristan, when I got it, it was on a PS4. It wasn't a long load. There was a longer load for conversation sometimes. On PC, it was always quick. All right. Yeah. When this map segment was so cool, it made me want to have the game too. Yeah, like the map looks great. I want to explore the whole thing, but at the same time, I'm not sure how much is to do on this map because they said you can return to the map. Like once you get the Kutenberg, you can return to this, but I'm not sure why you would want to return to this unless you want to go hunting or anything else like that. So that'd be pretty good. Oh yeah, that's a good point, Tristan. So I'm so happy they replaced the 3D placeholder for player icon that they have now. Yeah, this one, because I remember it was before, in the early release, it looked kind of raggedy. I was like, huh, what is that? This one looks a lot better. So now this is way better. So I just I just don't want to be stuck in bushes when I ride a horse. Nobody wants to, but I think we're gonna have some interesting mechanics going on there. So now the map looks pretty good, but what I'm really interested in is, they have the icons here and all that stuff. That'd be pretty good. So, hold on. Ooh, that hurt. Okay. Hey, Kevin, don't worry about being late. So, yeah, I mostly post, if you're ever interested, I mostly post in the community tab, and I kind of give updates when I'm doing streams or whatever, so you can always check there and see. So, that would be pretty interesting. Tristan says in the reputation page, I have a whole segment for forest people or something like that. So maybe it's for the two maps. That is true. But they did talk about it in here again. They talked about they separate out the forest people and also separate out a lot of families out. So apparently if you help one people out, the other people won't like you. So that would be that sounds kind of interesting that they're actually doing that. So it sounds like you got a little bit of a choice system. I'm not sure how much it will affect you, but we'll see. I always take things with a grain of salt because I know it sounds good, like it says you have a choice, but how much the choice actually affects or whatever. So this is the part that's interesting that I actually want to show off, is that he's throwing stones here. This is why I kind of went here. And apparently you get unlimited stone throws. And what they were saying in here too is that you can actually throw stones at people, like in town, and people will say certain things, and you can actually get charged for throwing stones at people because you can hit them. I don't know if you can kill someone with stones. That'd be interesting. Where Henry's just out there being a jerk and just embracing it. So, and also, I should say, I think Tobias is playing this, and he's pretty much like the common Henry, like me, just being a jerk the entire time and enjoying it. So he's my type of player, where he's just like, I want to annoy as many people as possible, and I think that's what he's doing. So, yeah. Let's see. I thought the devs are talking about the end. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I'm just talking about what they said and also kind of like some of my own thoughts here. So, it's kind of like just they're very, of course they're trying to sell the game, PR it, and I'm a little bit more skeptical at times. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about the game and all that, but I'm always like trying to figure out what do they really mean? What do we get out of it? Because I'm trying not to hype things too up. This is kind of like the leveler kind of thing, but it looks really good, and I'm actually excited about the little things they did show off. Like throwing stones and being a jerk is my thing. Yeah, you're going to make the gravediggers very happy. Give them plenty of job security. Oh, jeez. Yeah, Torment, you actually hit the nail on the head. The unskippable plant taking animation. I think that might be a mod thing too, where it's just like, kneeling down, going up and down. Because honestly, I feel the same way. It gets a little bit tedious sort of deal, especially when you're just like, hey, I just want to pick this up. So skipping that animation would be great, or having the option to do that. But, it's same, because they'll talk about that later on about the TDM store stuff. Here they kind of talk about like the pagan statues and all that. It's interesting, sort of tidbits. They kind of leave these little details in the game, which I really do love about it. I don't think a lot of other games do that too often. I mean, Red Dead and Witcher 3 are probably like the two that actually do that, but that's a different setup. Let's go to close to here. Let me see. So he's going down here. He actually goes back down the thing. People come to attack or whatever else, but you can actually see how the combat works at this level, especially when Henry's hurt. And then also, basically he's taking a bonk here right there. Yeah, so he's turned his back to the other guy with no armor on. He's going to get his butt kicked. But here you go. So here's the new death animation screen. I'm guessing we're going to see that a lot, so it's going to be something like pretty good. So he died in combat. It's a little bit more detail. The one thing I do wish they would do, a lot of devs would do this more often, is actually make different death animation screens. Like if you die multiple times. Because I remember, has anyone ever played a game Myth before? It's an old Bungie game. Like when you actually failed a mission, they actually had a different, fail screen altogether. And I don't think I've seen many other game companies actually do that. Because it was actually interesting, like, oh yeah, I got my ass stomped, but you get to see a new animation at the end, or a new death screen, which I thought was pretty interesting. So my guess, let's see, Tristan, my guess is that it would be too easy to gather a lot of plants too quickly, so the animation's probably to stop it from being too easy. That's true. I mean, it gives a little bit more realistic stuff, but it's not a, at the same time when it's a single player game, like, and you're allowed to kind of, do what you want. That's one of the mods I would probably support, because, however you want to do, it'll be good. Play the game how you want to play it. I don't think the plant picking's all that bad, especially how they're picking areas or growing areas. It becomes one-stop operation eventually. You're right, James. I mean, don't get me wrong. I guess it's like the animation stops there mostly from you like rolling too hard on money. Like you just gathered the whole Bohemia province. I know there's a mod in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 someone made, which automatically just picks all the herbs you walk across. So basically you get overloaded instantly if you do that. But don't do that. Don't pick that one. So, yeah, the animation makes sense with the leg day perk. That's true. But either way, let's see. So here's the reputation system that I think I'll try to pause this. There we go. So you can see that you have more people here, and you can see you have shepherds, gamekeepers, gravediggers, farmers, and all that stuff. So it seems you got quite a bit of people, and also they have undiscovered too. So it seems like they're locked behind, but there's people to find, and they have the mill people too. So maybe we'll have thieving missions or not. So let's see on here. What do I want to show off? Reputation overhaul. No, what I want to show off is on 1 hour here. Let's see. There we go. So you can actually kill chickens again, and you see the chickens actually have wing animations. But what's actually interesting this time, it seems that killing chickens is actually a crime in this game. So he actually picks up the chicken. Oh, I'm sorry, chicken. I forgot you here. Yeah. The good part is you can't just kill people's chickens, it seems, anymore with them being around. Because if you look here, is that he actually has a stolen tag on the chicken. So I did too much, yeah. So you actually have a stolen tag on a chicken. So now you can't just have unlimited chicken. Which sounds terrible, but it doesn't sound like a good system, because chicken in the game and Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was terrible. Not you, chicken. You're good. You're in the chat. But chicken that you got from Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 was terrible because it didn't do anything. It actually gave you like negative energy. So it was kind of like a terrible food. But here, they actually give you the nourishment and they actually give you plus health. So that works out. And this is like uncooked. And so when you cook the chicken, they'll show it off here. So, but like you actually get I think it goes up to 15, and then you basically get a little bit more. So that's actually a really good change on the food. Because a lot of times the food in the first game was just terrible to eat, because usually it just gives you negative energy or didn't give you any health, and it was just like, whatever. So, yeah, there goes Chef Henry at the best. And then, there you go. He's going to bring out the chicken. Of course, they're covering over it, but whatever. So they show you the stats here. Right there you see 15. They give you 5 health. No energy, but it works out. So, food actually seems a little bit more viable. I love the little recipe and the description of chicken. We'll probably try them all. I was thinking about that, Tristan. Like, there was a few games before that actually had recipes in the game. If anyone ever played Arcanum before, they actually had a banana bread recipe. I think it was in the game. It was also in the booklet, too. It actually turned out pretty good. So I wonder if they actually would do that, like have medieval recipes in there and be like, oh, yeah, this is how they baked it. Go give it a try if you want, kind of deal. That would be kind of like a nice tidbit if somebody has free time, if they want to do that. But you never know how that works out. So that was at 1 hour. Let's see. We talked about stones. So, yeah, there we go. This is the one. This is the one I want to see. So right now, there we go. Let me go back here. So what's going on right now is that he's going to pick up the body, because if you saw last time, he was fighting those guys, and he was talking about your choices matter between there. So he went to pick flowers before and not bury the guys. So when he came back, the 2 guys were there, and they saw the dead friend there, and they said, like, hey, wait a minute, you killed our friend. So depending on the order you do certain things, certain actions have consequences. So they were showing this off. So now he's going out there to bury him. And so this whole part's just showing out the physics, kind of like how you can bury people and stuff like that. It looks like Henry can still get caught up on branches and all that, so you're going to still have wobbly Henry whenever you want. Yeah. And then also, yeah, it looks like you can bury people, but I'm guessing these are designated areas. You can't just bury people out there. But the part that I love about this most, it looks like the janky physics is still out there, so you could see him messing around with it, which I absolutely adore. So you can still kick bodies and move them around and do all that stuff. So it is actually really, really nice. Medieval Dynasty has a cookbook DLC. No way, James. Okay, I played that game before. I just never had that. I never noticed that. Okay, I gotta check that out sometime. Doesn't Witcher have a cookbook? I mean, an in-real-life cookbook? I'm not sure about that. Someone has to tell me about that. I didn't know if they had it in the game, so that would be interesting. Fallout has one now, too. That's true. Yeah. James saying that's something I didn't think would be wonderful. There would be a reasonable amount of recipes available. KCD2 food brings everyone together. That's true. I mean, it'll be pretty easy to do on there. Yeah, so you can bury people, but I don't think there's... I think this is kind of like a skit sort of thing, so you can't just dig your own graves out in the middle of nowhere. I wish you could. That would be actually kind of good. I don't know what the purpose of that would be other than hiding the bodies. Kind of like if you played Hitman before where you're like, oh no, there's, I killed someone, I got to hide the body. That would be an interesting mechanic to have. Because most of the time they're just out on the floor and you're like, well, they're dead, so come see what I did. Yeah, that's a nice burial position. Let's see. Imagine that you're a guy and you're trying to bury someone like this. Yeah, like again, Tobias is one of those. He's a true Henry player of making things as fun as possible, sort of deal. So I kind of like him for that. So they're gonna go out to this lake at 107 here. I'll skip ahead. So you can see the water. It looks beautiful. Everything else here. I'm skipping ahead because they talk about this part right here. Of this, you can go to 1 hour and 6 minutes or 17 minutes, whatever. They talked about like saying that swimming is not in the game, so you're not going to be able to swim. There are, though, a couple of quests where Henry tries to swim. So they mentioned that Henry tries to swim before this scenario, and it goes wrong. And then they mentioned that there's another quest, he gets drunk and tries swimming, but then it goes wrong again. So swimming's sort of in the game, but not really in the game, because apparently Henry has a bad time. So Henry is allergic to water once again. So that's terrible, but I guess it's a good barrier to keep Henry out of certain places. Because I know in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, there was, even if you tried horse jumping the entire river or do anything, there's like invisible walls out there. So I couldn't get across the water, not going up or under, so it's kind of tough. So I wonder if they do the same build out here. But we're going to test stuff out, see what I can do, and mess with the game. So maybe in Kingdom Come Deliverance 3 we'll have it. Yeah, Henry will actually learn how to swim there. All right, see you, Torman. Have a good one. So, but, yeah. So swimming's not in the game. Maybe for quests, but it's not like something you can do normally. So that kind of sucks. Now what they're going to show off, it's coming up pretty soon. That's it. They're talking. But what they're going to show off is probably something you've seen in the chat. If you've gone Reddit before, they're going to talk about the photo mode here. So the photo mode is sort of similar to what NVIDIA, if anyone has a NVIDIA PC card, what you can do is that you can kind of go outside of your Henry and you can move around the camera like this. You can't go too far. So what they're saying is that you can't the camera's physical, so you can't go through walls. You can't go through the ground or anything else like that. You can only go a certain distance around Henry. So this is actually just a photo camera. You can take different nice photos, hide the UI and all that stuff if you want, and do whatever you want. Now, what they're talking about too, which they'll show off here, is that when you go out of photo mode, Henry actually says a line like "what a view" or what is that? Like some common thing. I wish he has a few more lines like that for situational, but they actually talk about this in photo mode, saying like they make Henry say things out loud, so you can't be hiding and then looking around the corner and then you know what's there, then you don't know to go there or not there. So Henry says stuff to kind of alert all the guards and everyone else to come on over and see what's going on. So I wonder what they'll do in the middle of a city, even though you're not trying to hide, and everyone's like comes to you like, hey, what is that? I'm going to mess around with that. Trust me, I'm going to do something like that. Chicken, yeah, that can be abused so nice. I'm sure we're going to be able to abuse it. Don't worry. We're going to do something like that. So Andreas, yeah, I'm glad they made photo mode. Yeah, I'm glad too. The NVIDIA photo mode works pretty well for the most part, but it's a little finicky to use. And not everyone has a NVIDIA card, so you can't do it everywhere like that. That's one thing there. So the photo mode is nice. So there goes my first note card. Let's see, second note card. Where are you? So here's something that they talked about here in this part, kind of close to this. They're just talking about. They're saying that this is going to sounds really weird, but now bats are going to be more important than ever, so especially for stealth, because what they're saying is that guards or anyone else can actually smell you. So if you smell really terrible, people can actually smell you, and that reduces your stealth ability, which sounds ridiculous, but actually pretty useful. So taking baths are going to be more important. At the same time, they said you don't get as dirty as quickly, which is good. But at the same time, now it sounds like taking a bath and stealthing is required for the most part. So that's something unique there. And then what they're also talking about, so they're just going to be walking along here and stuff like that. They also talked about hidden perks. Like, remember in the first game that they talked about saying that, let's see, what are you saying? Actually, they said that it won't be useful. Oh, you're talking about photo mode still. Tristan, Warhorse is trying to teach gamers to take a shower. Yeah, they first selling soap, and then now they're trying to enforce the showers. I knew it. This is their long game all along. They want to sell us all that soap. But what they're talking about is that in here too, they have hidden perks are coming back in there. So remember in the first game in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, if you picked enough nettle plants, you actually got, I forgot what the perk's called, but you basically get like a +2 vitality just from, picking all the prickly plants or whatever. So that's like a hidden perk. And there's also Cumin Killer too. And I want to say there's one more in there too that's hidden, but you get it. So they say there's a lot more in this game, or there's more. So they didn't say how many more, but it sounds like the nettle picking plant one is back in there. So that's something to look for. So look for nettle plants to get that early vitality buff if you can. And it sounds like they have a few more hidden perks in there overall, but that's something to look at. We'll make soap from more enemies fat in case you need to. Oh, God. That's true. So they're coming up on this part too. They're just talking about like, oh, you can't slip in the game, but you can fall off edges, so watch out for that. But this is the part that's interesting. So if you look in the distance out there, Procop was mentioning that if you see birds in the distance, like out there in that left right here, like they're pointing out there, they said that it probably leads you to unique places. So if you go out that way and actually see the birds out there, then that might be something to check out. I don't know how useful that is, but that's something to know, and that's actually kind of interesting. So I'm just going to skip ahead here because they don't really talk about anything too interesting. But anyways, here, this is probably what everybody knows about already. It looks like you get 3 different costume fits that you want. So you can switch out your outfit back and forth between different things. The only thing I was going to say is that your weight, like the costume changing is really nice, but at the same time, weight capacity is an issue as always, because if you carry a full plate of plate armor, then your town clothes, and then you have another set of clothes just in case, you can switch between them quickly, but carrying them all sucks. Like in the first game, carrying a full set of plate armor was basically your whole inventory. Like it was super heavy and you couldn't do anything about it. So, but here is interesting too. Belts seem to have a unique ability where you can actually quick draw your weapon. Like you can actually put a weapon on your hip. So you can go between a sword, or you can go between 2 swords or an axe or whatever else you want to do. So it looks like belts are there for quick switching there. So that would be actually pretty good. Let's see. Arkinson saying Cumin Killer is 32 Cumins kill. Okay. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, and Tristan's saying that I think they imply that praying at locations could unlock a hidden perk. That's actually good to know. All right. I did not hear that, but I might have missed it because I was drinking at the time and also sick. So that would be something like that. And Miles saying like the perk resistance or something. I think you're right on that. That was the perk for the nettles and all that. So that's a good one to have there. So the belt seems useful. There seems to be a little bit more options to dress up. That would be pretty good, but we'll see how that goes. So Henry's just wearing, and I also talked about here is you can see that there's different quality of clothes. So there's like the short tunic with a copper logo 1, and then Warren Gamison as a silver 2. So they do have different markings for the quality of clothes. That would be interesting to see. Let's see. I think they suggested when Henry's praying over Hans. Oh, okay. Thanks, Tristan. Radu, fetch me the breastplate stretcher. Oh, geez. I hope they have a line like that in the game. So there's tournaments in there. So what they're talking about over here too, they talked about a little bit further at 1 minute 34. I'm just moving ahead. But they're talking about too is if you want to repair your clothes with like a tailor kit kind of deal, is that the more fancy your clothes are, the more it's going to cost your tailor kit or whatever repair kit you're going to have. So the cheaper clothes you have can be repaired real easily, but the more expensive something is, the more it's going to cost. So I'm kind of curious of how that's going to work out, especially if like technically if your stuff is beat up all the way to hell, then it's worth nothing. Does that mean it's easier to repair, or is it just the original cost of the item? Like if it's worth 1,000, then it's going to cost 10% of your tailor kit compared to 5% if something's worth 500. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's kind of weird. Yeah. So Soldier saying dual wielding axes would be sick. So I think they definitely said there's no dual wielding in the game. So it looks like we're not going to be able to be a Viking warrior, just dual wielding axes coming at people. It would be nice. Yeah, so here, they kind of got the normal dialogue options and all that. So you could talk about different things. It's pretty good for the most part. The thing that I'm kind of worried about, so once he selects this option, is that you'll see that he'll have different speech options to choose from for like speech check, survival or intimidation or something like that. You get all these different options off of here. But the issue I have with it, I don't know if it's a bug or it's something that they'll change in the game. It looks like the speech is when you hover over it, like see how he goes over it? Like they had the plus markings on there, but they don't tell you what it is anymore. Like it just went away. So it doesn't, like, it showed the symbol there, but now it's gone. So I wonder if that's a bug. Someone let me know, because I'd be kind of bummed if that's how it is. Like, you kind of hover over it and it went away. So I wonder if that's, someone has to let me know on that one. I did notice that one-handed sword and sword and shield are two different combat skills. That's just a good point, Tristan. That might be something to look at. I have to take a look at that. Yeah, so he's just failed a speech check here. Not a big deal. Also, if someone is interested, I don't know what it translates to, but apparently these two guys, their names are jokes. So Koltsik and Mikish. So they're supposed to be a joke in there. They didn't tell us what it is in the game, but they said to look it up. I didn't look it up. If anyone knows what it means, that'd be good. Tristan, I think it's a bug. I think that it comes back when it replays this section. Yeah, it comes back when you replay it, but when you kind of like go back down through it, like if you're going through the options on there, it kind of sucks where you're like, oh shoot, what was it? Like, at least if I was playing it, I would be a little bit annoyed. Oh my god. Barnes base makes my sword rise. I don't know, of a sick man's voice. It works out like that. So I'm going to go ahead. Kotsik means goat. And what does Mikish means? I don't know about that one. It means one hell of a KCD player. Yeah. So they talk about this. And they were also talking about, in this too, is that if you let these guys live, apparently they show up in a different mission later on. And of course they're showing off like, consequences have actions kind of things, or what you do matters later on in the game, which is really nice to do. But at the same time is that, they showed this off in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. They had a little bit of that, especially at the very beginning, like when they really built the game, like certain things had actions, but later in the game, things were very like, if you did this, it's, that's the only thing that happened. So I really do hope they stay true to that, where it's like they had enough time to put the game together and think out all these options, so when you do something, it matters later on. Like, oh yeah, I let this guy live, and he shows up later on. Like, for example, in Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, you're allowed to spare the Faint Heart Knight. The one you meet on a random quest in the thing. You could just steal his armor or whatever, and he's trying to look for women and trying to fight you. But if you kill him, nothing happens. If you give him good advice, nothing happens. He kind of just... he just disappears, and you're like, all right, you don't hear anything from him. So that's what I mean. It's like, I hope they don't have quests like that in the game sort of thing. I hope you hear about your actions later on. That's always like the best part about some games. Like, I know Fallout 3 does it pretty well with Three Dog, where it's like he tells about what you did on the radio. You can hear about what you did, and it's actually kind of interesting like that. So, let's see. Will you make the famed human philosopher return? I will try, but I don't know if I can. So making human philosopher requires bugging the game out a bit. So I don't know if I can do it, but I will definitely be that. So Tristan looked it up. Kula Mills is a Czech children's book, so maybe it's a reference to that. Okay, yeah, that's true. I'll have to see. Knowing that region kind of thing, it's probably like one of those Hansel and Gretel kind of stories. So I'm kind of terrified to actually look that up. So I'm gonna skip the combat here because everybody's seen it. So Henry's competent, I guess, enough. But what I want to show off here is, if we go to 35. So Henry, pick up food. But here, later on, Henry's going to go into doing alchemy sort of deal. And he's going to actually, you can see how the alchemy works out. They actually do the comparison there. So it looks pretty good. It looks like the standard alchemy bench. And it looks like everything works out. And they talked about that you actually get to keep the book with you. So instead of leaving the book there, you take the book with you. And then it actually stays in the codex a little bit better. So you can actually look up the recipes in the codex and know what you need. And it works. You don't have to like go to alchemy benches to figure it out. So you can actually just look it up on there. It looks very nice like before. They kind of updated the graphics. It looks pretty good. The only thing I will say, it looks like it became a little bit more tedious. You'll see what I mean when he starts using this here. So again, the thing is you have to go to the book, select what potion you want. They tell you all the stuff here, which is pretty good. And you can flip back and forth between recipes to the table and all that, depending on what you want. The page flipping is a little bit annoying. I wish they had I don't know if they have a table of contents where you could just say, flip to this one, like go to this one that I want. Because I hate like flipping to certain potions and be like, all right, it's all the way in the back and you got to flip 12 pages to get to it. That's the thing that drove me nuts on the alchemy at least. So, but it looks like all the good potions are returning, eye bright and all that, their effects. And, it looks beautiful. That's what I could say. So imagine if there's an Easter egg for a gold creation, the wet dream of any alchemist. That's actually a pretty good idea they could probably throw in the game. So, just hold it in there and see if you can create your own gold or something like that. There might be a mission like that. That actually would be pretty good. So, again, you got to create a potion. You get the herbs and all that stuff. So I'm waiting for him to go there. But you can see that the heating is a little bit more tedious overall. So, and they talked about it where it's like some people like the tedium and, working it out. Like, that's pretty good. For me, like, I like how it looks. The animation looks beautiful, but to me, it's like, I only have so much patience for certain things. So I kind of go like, that's cool. And I'm like, all right, I got to go. I got things to do. My brain's working too far. So, hunting's a different thing. That's a different tedium, but like alchemy is a little different. Now, look at this. So, again, usually you start out by pouring something in there. So, again, you get the 4 choices. Looks absolutely gorgeous. So, of course, they're going to start with wine and all that. But what he has to do is that it looks like you have to adjust the actual... All right, come on, Henry. Show it. So, you got to adjust the cauldron. You got to move it over the flame. You got to actually move it down while you boil it and stuff like that. Which I don't know if that's changing the cooking process altogether. So now you got to wait till it boils and do all that stuff. So I'm not a big fan of that because it adds an extra step in there. So not my jam for the most part, but we'll see. So the cooking process is a little bit different from alchemy altogether. It looks beautiful. It looks great. I don't know what else I can say off of there. So it's not too bad. They said that blacksmithing, they didn't show it off, but they did mention it. And they said it's kind of like, it has a similar type of mini game kind of deal. And, it'll have the kind of same tedium to it. I don't know what you can do with the blacksmithing. So they didn't really say too much. I'm guessing you can repair your stuff and then also have probably build some things. I'm not sure where you get the material you need for it, but we'll see how that works out. But alchemy kind of works. It looks like it has the general process in there, and it looks like it works all the same. So if anyone else has more information on that, let us know, because Yeah, there's not too much. I noticed that he's not using the sandglass either. I don't know how many people actually use the sand. Oh, he used the sandglass. Maybe a liar. I just never used the sandglass because usually like one bellow just gave you the potion time, and that's all you need to do. You don't need the sandglass off of there. It looks cool, but that's about it. So, but I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit here. They said it's a new minigame too. The boiling's very pretty. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, the animations are shorter with Alchemy now. I guess so, maybe. I hope it is shorter, because, I don't mind doing it, but it's like once you get into like once you get like past 5 potions, it's like, I don't know. That seems like about the same grinding time. I'm going to have to compare this to Kingdom Come Deliverance 1. Now I'm going to have to upload my own stuff too. So it's better than that shaking PNG image of herbs. You're right. You're right. It is much better. I'm just showing the whole alchemy thing all together so you can figure out how it looks. I think this is probably one of the few times I showed it off. And it looks like you brew more than one potion at a time. So instead of doing that, look, they gave him 2, brews at a time. So it's not just one potion, you get multiple. So that's actually pretty good. So I can be down with that. So one thing I have a note later on, they talked about that there'll never be a fetch quest again in this game, which is kind of interesting to say. Or they say, like, unless you want to do it. So there were a lot of fetch quests. There were a lot of fetch quests in the first game where you had to go, like, get 10 hairs or, give me, 15 arrows or something like that. But in this game, they said there's no fetch quests, but I don't know what that means, not unless it's like a reoccurring quest or something like that. Who knows? That's a pretty bold statement. Just the nature of RPGs, a lot of things are fetch quests. So I don't know what they mean by that, but we'll see how that works out. So let's see. So 145, and that's pretty good. The last bits I have here. Here we go. I'm going to go to 154, which is, a lot of this is just talking about similar stuff. The codex looks very pretty and all that. They did a really good update on there. It looks a lot better than the first one. Like the first codex that you have in the game, if anybody actually read through them, it's actually really nice. But honestly, it takes a while to read it through. They did a really good job with the codex. But with the part I really want to show off is, so they got the burning of scallops. Come on.
Where everything started.
Yeah. So what I found funny is that let's see, I'm trying to show it off.
Absolutely. So let's go outside.
I can see this is
So
a
they
different
go
time
down
of day.
here.
So the lighting is a little different. The focus is a little
never
different.
changed with the
There's
game.
one less chicken
So
than
wait
before.
for this. So just kind
Evil
of kill
Toby.
those 2
Evil
guys,
Toby.
and they're
And
having
there's
a little
our-
And
breakfast
Kenko
out
is
there.
alive.
And she just goes,
Hooray!
yeah, it's a murderer.
It's a
And she just runs away.
Murder!
Yeah. I think she saw the dead body or the dead
Some
chicken.
things don't change in this
Maybe a
game.
bit of both.
So-
but anyway, this is the point
Yeah.
where our
Let's
little
see. Alessandro, yeah,
story
Alessandro.
ends for today.
I'll take fetch
so if you
quests
have any
over
questions,
escort
if you want to
quests
know
any day,
anything,
you're right about that.
if there's
Fetch
anything
quests
that
are
is stayed unanswered, now is the time
terrible.
to.
Or escort quests are absolutely terrible. So, yeah, the codex is good, but I think that, remember, its history wasn't that great. Okay. Did I get some things wrong on there, or what do you think about that? And also, so this is getting towards the end off of here, is that what you have is that what they're mentioning later on is that they're saying that there's different endings to the game. Oh yeah, don't worry, James. I turned it down afterwards. Sorry, I just wanted you to hear the murderer there. So that was weird. But anyways, they said there's supposed to be different endings to the game. So they didn't really specify, but it seems like you might be able to affect your own ending. But we don't know if it's picking red, blue, or green light sort of deal, like in Mass Effect 3. Or if it's a real change, where Henry's a jerk and now he's being executed, or Henry's now the noble lord or something like that. So apparently you get different endings that could happen. They didn't really go into too much detail, of course, but that's one thing. They also said that during cutscenes, you're allowed to actually pause during cutscenes now. So if you're like watching something, you need to go to the bathroom or you want to look at something, you can actually pause it. It didn't say you can go back and forth through the cutscene, but you can actually pause cutscenes. So if that's something up for you, that's pretty good. But overall, that is basically what I'm kind of interested mostly throughout this entire dev setup, because there's really not too much more they showed, because Kutenberg was like a giant city and they showed off a lot of things. Here they kind of show off the beginning, they kind of get a little tidbits here and there, but I think this one doesn't give a lot of interesting details. I mean, they do, but at the beginning it seems a little bit different. It just tell you how stuff goes. Also, the doggo is a little bit different here, so they might have different dogs looking here. So let's see. Oh man, I'm gonna miss not being able to read like the first game. Maybe that German alchemy stations that Henry won't be able to read. That's true. Let's see. Are we gonna continue the perks things, or is that already dead? The perks things are gonna probably be in a video tomorrow, or I might do something else. Like, cause next week I have a holiday coming up, so I might do something slightly different. I have that video being made, but the perks are, that would be pretty interesting. Let's see, or they could add some bad endings afterwards, like BG3 did. That's true. Baldur's Gate 3 went crazy with their endings. Like, now you have to replay the game so many times to get different endings. So, they also mentioned a lot more different wildlife. Thank you for bringing it up, Tristan. I forgot about that. Yes, apparently there's supposed to be wolves out there, too. So, they didn't say bears, I didn't hear, but wolves is one thing. Thank you for bringing that up. They did mention about wolves. So if you go out there, you could get in some trouble if you're just, low-level hunting sort of deal. Do you feel the NPCs went easy on Toby when he was fighting behind his back? This is like the early part of the game, so they might have been just, low-level NPCs like farmers, so they're just like, but, honestly, like with the weapons and no armor, you're going to go down in like 2 or 3 hits anyway, so he might have got lucky probably, so that probably a thing. If they have a hardcore mode and make it more realistic, then that'll work out, but yeah, it'll be pretty good. But yeah, there's a lot of different options, and they just go through here. But I think I'm going to call it from right here, unless, if people got more questions about the stream, because I'll probably turn, this into a video talking about what the devs are doing, but I kind of want to hear what everybody else wanted to say. And, yeah. Tristan, wolves, birds, elk, Kunish, all beasts. Yeah, they didn't say if Kunish is coming back, but I don't think if he is. The one person I did see on Reddit earlier that they said that Hanish is supposed to come back to the game. So the voice actor's back, and he's supposed to be in the second game. They didn't say it during this live stream, but he's actually confirmed to be back. So if you like Hanish, Hanish is going to be out there. And maybe you can go hunting with him or something. Or pour him more drinks, and that's kind of how it works out. But, yeah, tomorrow I'll have a live stream too around the same time. And I'll probably do something along the lines of either perks or either I'll probably do something more of a building thing. Just because of, my time constraint on next week. On the following weekend, I probably won't be able to do a live stream at all. But that's sort of how it works out. I would say Sir Radzik would come back since he's Henry's dad. Yeah. That's a good point. He might come back too. They didn't say he would, but, I don't see why not. If Peshik isn't coming back either, spin-off or quit. If Peshik's back, man, we're going to have such a good time with that. I would love it so much if Peshik's back. But I don't see how that works out. The Charlatan, yeah. The Charlatan and Heineken Hair are possibilities. The Charlatan is definitely one I think will come back. If they don't have him back or something in the variation, I would be really surprised. Because he's actually a really good character. And he RPG-wise, like, it just makes story sense. He just wanders around, so it wouldn't be too much. Yeah, Heineken Hair went to a different castle, but, you never know. He could show up. Peshik would come back as a villain. Yeah, that's true, but he would sell your stuff. So, Ulrich, maybe? Ulrich could come back, too. That's an interesting one. But he went back to Prague, didn't he? So, we'll see how that works out. But, anyways, I think I'm going to call that right now, and then we'll keep it a nice little short stream. But is there any other questions anybody has? Like I said, tomorrow will probably be a thing. I think they mentioned one of the voice actors, KCD, dying. I know, yeah. So maybe that is the Markov on Austerlitz. I'll have to see if that's his thing. So, but anyways, thank you all for joining. There should be a video on this tomorrow. I just got to build it all up together, and it'll be pretty, quick hit, little sound effects here and there. And I'll put in the Markov voice so you can see the difference, go back and forth. If anyone noticed that chicken in the cutscene, the beginning one, let me know, because it's going to drive me crazy. I know there's a chicken in there. That'd be pretty good. But anyways, thanks again. Let me start pouring some drinks for everybody. But we'll just keep it kind of short. And, if you're interested, tomorrow, that'd be pretty good to see everybody tomorrow around 10. We'll go through some Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 stuff. And we'll make it kind of interesting there. But right now, I think I'll just call that apart. And I'll see you all later, all right? So, and I think, yeah. So, and I think that'll work out. So, anyways, thanks again. They're just going to talk about their ending too. So, but anyways, have a good one, everyone. And goodbye. We'll see. Or, yeah, there you go. You can hang out. Does the chicken count if it's in the soup? I don't think that chicken counts there. So, around the same time. So, if you're Eastern time, I put the same time in the community page, so you could see it's like 7 p.m. East in Europe. So it's like that. So that'll work out. My time zone's Pacific, so I'm all the way out in California. So it's like 10 a.m. here. It'll be 1 p.m. East Coast, and then you got that out there. So someday I'll probably do way earlier kind of deal. So and that way it'll make it easier for everybody else. But again, yeah, come tomorrow if you want to check out some regular Kingdom Come Deliverance, and we'll do some little screwy stuff there. So thanks for joining. Have a good evening, everybody, and enjoy your Saturday. Bye-bye. Yep, see you all. Bye-bye. Ba-boom. There you go.